If you experience out of the ordinary phenomena like ego dissolution, Kundalini awakening, near-death experiences, or prolonged dark night of the soul, you'll likely know how it feels to feel disorientated. You may at times find yourself wondering about your sanity, and at other times wondering about the sanity of consensus reality. Spiritually integrated therapy neither dismisses such experiences as pathology, nor over-romanticizes them as enlightenment. It offers an open-minded and complementary way of working with these experiences. It's also informed by psychotherapeutic research. Spiritually integrated therapy respectfully incorporates a client's spiritual or religious framework into psychotherapeutic work. Although it can take a while for establishment views to catch up, it is actually quite well supported in the psychological literature. It's well supported that integrating clients' spiritual beliefs into their therapy improves their outcomes compared to when they're not included. The beauty is that the majority of psychotherapeutic approaches prioritize your frame of reference as the client. So you might have therapy with a non-believer therapist and you might tell them about your encounter with God. They're not going to kick you out. They're not going to go against what you say. They will respect that. That being said, you may prefer to know a therapist's spiritual beliefs before working with them. If you'd like to know my spiritual beliefs, I have a blog post that I've written about this, and I have a video as well, which you might be interested in. Stan Grof and Christina Grof introduced the concept of spiritual emergency integration, pertaining to states that may resemble psychiatric disturbance, but when supported appropriately, they can significantly accelerate growth or transformation. As a non-medical therapist, I'm not qualified to differentiate a spiritual crisis from a psychiatric disorder. That's between you and a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist. Indeed, it would not be a case of one or the other, but a matter of your ability to function normally and your and other people's safety and the effectiveness of your integration process. There are a few approaches which do not set out to be spiritual but are by nature inclusive of spirituality. The therapeutic alliance. The therapeutic relationship isn't really an approach, it's the commonality between all therapeutic approaches. It's the grounding and bond of trust between client and therapist. The strength of this alliance is the biggest predictor of therapeutic success above any individual approach. Whether your concerns are psychological, relational, or spiritual, a good therapeutic relationship can provide non-judgmental listening, holding space for you as the author of your own growth, confidentiality, a consistent check-in, helping you to get to the roots of your issues, background experience and knowledge about the issues you're going through. Person-centered and humanistic therapy. Person-centered therapy places high importance on including and valuing any meaning system held by the client. In humanistic psychology, the concept of growth and self-actualization can tie in with transcendence and self-transcendence. Schema therapy. Schemas are a web of memories, emotions, sensations, and beliefs that form a blueprint for the ways in which we understand ourselves and the world around us. Schemas are presumed to form within this lifetime, but if a client conceives of their schema in the context of a previous or parallel life, then the therapist can work with it in the same way. Third wave CBT approaches, such as exposure therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy, are more inclusive of contemplation, working with values and meaning, than vanilla CBT, as you might say. Acceptance and commitment therapy even emphasizes the self as the observer, rather than the experiencer, akin to self-transcendence. There are additional approaches to therapy which, either in whole or in part, set out to work with spiritual material. We have existential therapy. Existential therapy often explores material related to mortality, transcendence, and spirituality. Indeed, purpose beyond self is a form of self-transcendence itself, and meaning collapse may be framed spiritually as a dark night of the soul. They have equivalents. We have transpersonal therapy. Transpersonal psychotherapy is explicitly spiritual and addresses altered or non-ordinary states like mystical experiences, and self-transcendence. So that's identifying as greater than the self. It could be family, it could be humanity, it could be nature, or it could be the cosmos. In transpersonal therapy, the process of growth serves a higher purpose than just the self. Symptom reduction can happen, but it's secondary to integration and growth. Mindfulness therapy. Mindfulness comes from Buddhist traditions. It's awareness without judgment, and a view of nature as impermanent. It sits well with spiritual frames and processes, as you might imagine. We have also Jungian psychotherapy. Carl Jung sees spiritual growth as fundamental to psychological growth. He draws upon spiritual symbolism and sees individuation as pivotal. Non-divided, dual, becoming cohesive and whole. Along your psycho-spiritual journey, you encounter archetypes who represent patterns of thinking and behaving, or roles we occupy and live in the personal and collective unconscious. And we have hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is used by some therapists as a way to explore spiritual themes and transcendent concepts. It's conducive to working imaginatively, symbolically, and through narrative. Past life regression is a tool some hypnotherapists use to process and repattern formative events and access resourcefulness from beyond this life. The approaches I integrate include the therapeutic relationship, naturally, hypnotherapy, person-centered therapy, CBT, including exposure therapy, humanistic, existential therapy, and transpersonal therapy. The extent to which I draw on any individual approach varies according to what you need overall and at any given moment during your process of growth. The therapeutic relationship is at the heart, keeping me closely aware of your emotional, energetic, and cognitive states, so that I can know how to best respond. These practices can provide support in the moment, but are not substitutes for therapy. We have grounding yourself in present sensory awareness, Name 5 visible objects. Feel both feet on the floor. Slow your breathing. This reduces activation of your sympathetic nervous system. We have sleep sound strategies. Stick to your habitual and familiar sleep windows. Also, after 9 p.m, limit yourself to calm input like reading and avoid digital devices. Limit nighttime spiritual practices that can keep you grounded. Better sleep stabilizes your mood and promotes overall health. We also have meaning mapping. Start off, draw 3 columns on a piece of paper. At the top of each column, write experience, emotional impact, and emerging meaning. Write down spiritual or any other experiences of note, identifying their emotional impact and what they could mean using the 3 columns. So feel free to change your mind at any point. This helps you to understand your experiences and emotions, giving them the light of day rather than suppressing them. We have anchoring relationships. Simply spend time with people who seem normal, together who seem balanced. This provides companionship and a baseline for integration. Rightly or wrongly, this is the world that we share, so we need to be grounded in it.